our group is going to talk about plagiarism. My group is formed by Rodolfo, Miguel, Gustavo, and Jose. Next, Rodolfo is going to talk about the bit, about the introduction.
Thank you. Well, first of all, plagiarism have a history. It's been a crime since Rome. Throughout the history in Rome, there were poets that made a lot of poetry, and they sing or said that poetry in the plaza. But normally, there were other guys or individuals that normally, like they steal their poems and went to other places and said the poems. This was a major crime as well in Rome. They usually punish it with killing the guy that has stole the poet. Thank you. Now my colleague Miguel is going to talk about plagiarism and its types.
I'm going to talk about the types of plagiarism. We have different types of plagiarism. We have the complete plagiarism, that is copying exactly a paragraph from an article. We have the partial plagiarism, that is copy two or more articles from the same font. And we have the minimal plagiarism, that is copy ideas, examples, and that is. And the most important is the self-plagiarism, that is copying your own ideas without citing it. This type of plagiarism is controversial for many people. So it depends the type of plagiarism that you are going to do. If self-plagiarism come to it.
I'm going to give the first opinion of the group. So, in my opinion, I think that the people that commit plagiarism are people ignorant because in internet exists all the tools to didn't commit plagiarism. Or so you just have to or paraphrasing or just use quotation marks. So paraphrasing is synonym of ignorance.
Okay, and as a second opinion, and a group opinion, uh, we discussed that every work or basically everything should be overchecked and over revised to make sure that there's no plagiarism at all. And this will be better not just for the institution but also for the people who are working very hard on their work.
Okay, in conclusion, plagiarism is a bad thing. We have to avoid it, and we can get in trouble, like going to the jail to do it. Thank you.
Today we are going to talk about political plagiarism. This is a very bad case that happened in a real life. In Guatemala, a political made plagiarism with his thesis, with his book, and another documents that he do. This was a real problem because there was a public figure that represent Guatemala, and these documents appear in the world, not only in Guatemala. The consequences of this was that he lost the elections in the country and lost the trust in the people, and this was a very difficult part in Guatemala.
I'm going to talk about labor plagiarism. Why I'm going to talk about this? Because this have a big consequence in your life and in the life of the other person. Labor plagiarism is when someone stole your ideas, stole your work, and all the things that are made by you. I'm going to talk first about the three most important consequences when you made labor plagiarism. First consequence is you can go jail, and this can change your life a lot, because if you go jail you lose your work and you lose a lot of things, friends, family, and more. Second consequence are you can be fired by your boss, and when you are fired you can work you have a bad recommendation by your boss from the place where you work. Third consequence, you need to pay a penalty fee. Why is this? All the most of the time you pay the penalty fee and you go to jail. And these are the most important consequences about the labor plagiarism.
Hello, I'm going to talk to you about the consequences of the academic plagiarism. As we know, plagiarism is one of the most common uh, things that we commit when we are studying, right? Because we are students since we are children and we study to the university and all the things. So we always have homework and different projects to do at home. So we only want to go to the easy way to do the homework, and we just copy the homework to our classmate, or we'll just go to internet and copy and paste without citing the information that we get in internet, right? So that can be a very bad thing because can get different consequences like getting a zero. We are not going to learn anything about the homework. We are not using our time in a good way.
One of the most common cases of plagiarism is the artist plagiarism, and it consists when an artist copies the work of another artist. This kind of plagiarism have a lot of consequences, as to pay a big amount of money, lose your reputation, and lose the confidence of all your followers. A good example of this kind of plagiarism is the case of Robert Williams and Robert Thicke with their song Borderlines. This song was accused of being a plagiarism of the song Got to Give Up of Robin Gage. As a consequence, they had to pay a big amount of money that was the middle part of all the earnings that they had with their song.
Plagiarism. Plagiarism is a crime, as any other crime, because plagiarism is stealing information from someone's work. You may think that it's not a big deal, but if you commit plagiarism and you don't give them their credits, you are going to be punished. Sometimes in some places you could be punished in an economic way, or even you can be punished with jail in the most important cases. Remember that it's for your future. They will repercute in a negative way in your future because you are paid for what you know, for how good your works are, how you really work really good. But the problem is if you commit plagiarism, that means that you are lack of for professionalism to realize your work. Don't repercute in your life in a negative way. Do your own work or use the correct credits, and please stop plagiarism.
Hey there, this is our group and we will talk about how to avoid plagiarism. So first, my first partner who will talk about give us a little introduction and some definitions of plagiarism in Sarah. So.
Okay. It is wise to avoid plagiarism in any writing. The first important thing is the intention and not to steal or copy the other's work or not to duplicate your own work. It should be known that one person might have the same opinion or idea and express in the same writing with the others. Therefore, an additional important thing to do is to recheck your work before it is submitted, and there's many good online checking tools that you should use, like Turnitin or many others. So.
Now, taking this definition, David will give us some steps.
Okay guys, I'm gonna give you some steps to avoid plagiarism. The step number one is understand what plagiarism is. According to the American Heritage Dictionary, plagiarism defined as the unauthorized use of the or similar use of the another author and takes as your own work. The step number 2 is be familiar with the topic you are talking about. If you know very well your topic, you can explain it or in your own words. The step number 3 is restate the subject to yourself a couple of times. The key to avoid plagiarism is know the topic very well, and you can express it in your own words. The step 4 is reference and quotes. You need to get a bibliography in your papers. Step number 5 is when doubt, give credit. There are many ways you can avoid plagiarism. The step number 6 is understand what basic about copyright. Plagiarism also can be more than bad academic practice. Also, if you broke the copyright, you are in the violation of the law. The step number 7 is understand what things is not necessary to be cited. For example, the common knowledge or your own experience are not necessary to be cited in your work.
Okay, now taking these steps on mind, Herman will give us our first opinion.
For example, you have to know very well how to cite every single idea or some paragraphs you take from another person to try to avoid the plagiarism. And you have to be an expert in the topic you are talking about to have the ideas fresh and to know what are you talking about. And we use very frequently the APA rules because it is something international being used since a lot of time, and I think we are doing very well taking that here.
Okay, now my last partner will give us our second opinion.
Plagiarism is very easy to commit using bad searching techniques. As it is very easy just to use someone else's information or copy paste, as we call it. But using correct searching techniques can reduce the incidence of plagiarism in your work. Paraphrasing is one of the best examples, as it consists on reading the information, analyze it, and take the important information and write in your own words.
Okay, now that we have a definition, some steps, techniques, and opinions, our own opinions about how to avoid plagiarism, as we can see, it's very easy to avoid this steal of minds and to do our own works without keeping stealing information. So thank you so much and have a good night.
How do you guys? For today, you have a little assignment. You have to make an essay, but it's in partners, so you can choose your partners. Just two, please. Partners. It's not a group. It's just partners. I'm going to upload your assignment to the blog, so you can see all the instructions for the essay. Just one thing, please, you guys. Remember, the plagiarism is 100% done, accepted here in this university. So please avoid plagiarism, or I'm going to give you a 0 and 5 brutas. So please, guys, take that in consideration. See you tomorrow, guys.
The teacher said us that we have to search about horses. We have to make an essay of 30 pages, and we have 1 week to do it. So I looked for 3 books that cousin led me. So if you want, I can read 1.5 of them, and you read the other. I'm going to make a summary of each, and are 30 pages. So I'm going to make 15 pages, and you the other. Okay. I'm going to paraphrase the books, and from there I'm going to take the information. I think that it's not necessary to citate because it's my own idea, because I'm the one that make the summary. So I'm not to go to citate.
Sure. And I will do the other half of the work. And here I will take this book and this other book. Okay. Okay. This is the book that you're gonna use, okay, and both of us. And the other is the book that I'm gonna use. And what I'm gonna do is I only will change some words. The main ideas will be always there, and I will do always the 15 pages. 50 pages.
Okay. Yes, I think that if you only change some words and strike like the main ideas, it's going to be right.
Yes. I guess that it's not necessary to cite too, because it's my work and I'm doing this.
Yes, I think
this with my
I think the same
report.
At all are not the same words that are there, so I think it's okay.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
See you.
So, Maria Fernanda, I recall Mr. Casco gave us a topic, right, on flowers. And I was reading this ornamentals book, which is great. It has great information. But do you know what? I recall there are different techniques. The techniques he plays in the blackboard, but I don't know APA. I recall APA is just like copying and pasting the link, right?
Okay, I think that bibliography just needs that link. So, and they're just flowers. So why do we need to make a citation? It's like I'm going to say like flowers are beautiful, and I don't need any citation to say that.
Yeah, I think that's general information. So I will just copy and paste the names, and I think I will cite only the scientific names and use just the link of in the bibliography, and that's it. I think it's okay like that, right?
I think that we don't need more information than.
Okay, that's it then. Thank you very much.
Guys, I'm really disappointed. Yesterday, I told you that I don't want you guys commit plagiarism. Remember, guys, there's a lot of ways to avoid plagiarism. You just have to look for it, and you can even ask me. I'm a teacher. You can ask me how to avoid plagiarism. Remember, if you use a source, it doesn't matter if it's a book, it's a song, it's a website. If you use that source to take out information, you have to cite it. At the end of the paragraph, you have to cite your word. It doesn't matter that you only read a little bit. If you paraphrase something from another source that is not your information, it's not your own ideas, you have to cite the word. So guys, I'm going to give you just one last time to make your work again, but it is going to be the last time. Because if I want, right now, I can give you 5 rutas. So please guys, I hope to change your work for tomorrow at 6 a.m. See you tomorrow, guys.
Afternoon. Today we're going to talk about plagiarism and the content here in Zamorano. The definition, the reasons, the causes, and most of it we are going to talk about the personal opinion about plagiarism by Zamorano students. First of all, I'm going to talk about the definition of plagiarism. Plagiarism means to use, to borrow, to take someone else's ideas and put in all your own name without giving credit to the original author. According to several universities and several dictionaries worldwide known, plagiarism, it means to make literary thief and putting all your own name in several reports. Thank you.
Hi. I think that the best way to know about the plagiarism in Zamorano is asking people. I did this and I found many things. Lack of time, lack of discipline. People leave their obligations for the last moment, and social acceptance. all these factors here is related. For example, lack of time and people leave their obligations for the last moment is related to the organization. Organization is the base for studying in Zamorano because it's necessary to have one schedule in Zamorano. Another point, relationship between social acceptance and culture, because we have 32 different nationalities in Zamorano, and it's possible that some culture acceptance plagiarism. In summary, are all factors to cause plagiarism in Zamorano.
Here at Zamorano, we have many consequences regarding to the theme of plagiarizing. For example, if we plagiarize here as a student, we can get a 0 in that homework, or we can fail the class. But much worse, we could fail the year, and it's very drastic for us as students, especially in this university. All this is applied to us here at Zamorano, but in general, in the world, you can even go to jail because it's considered a bigger crime. But to avoid all this, we have some techniques, which are called writing techniques, which we could use what it is called quotations, we could cite, and we could paraphrase. These three are allowed to us here by many teachers at our English classes. Basically, we could use all this to avoid plagiarism and have a really
Anyone can be a victim of plagiarism in a voluntary or involuntary way. Plagiarism may cause many consequences, but the important of all of this is that it can be avoided. The way in how we live our lives daily can influence in our future activities. So it's important to train ourselves, being organized, responsible, and change current attitudes. So remember, be you, be your own words, avoid plagiarism.
I consider that sometimes it's very difficult to avoid the plagiarism. In many cases, we are unintentionally exposed to commit this mistake in the task, in the exposition, in the exams, in the reports, or any activity that we can perform. Nevertheless, as future professionals, we must give to the society something different and make of our own life something authentic. The most important part for each one should be to become in authors of our own works. Clearly, maybe often we need help from different sources as books, journals, or internet, but it should be a reference, not something that we want to extract information without anything modification in the content or without doing use of bibliographic citation. Therefore, it's our mission develop the ability to understand, analyze, and create own ideas, because we are Zamoranos for the world, but original Zamoranos, not remember, say no to the plagiarism, that everything that you do, it reflects yourself, not to others.
3.
Be authentic.
Avoid plagiarism.
Plagiarism is not just an educational issue. We can find plagiarism in books, science, and journals, and we have to know that plagiarism is directly involved with moral values. The fact is we have to learn about moral values at home, not at the school. So our parents have the responsibility to teach us what are the moral values, and to not copy and be responsible. Because plagiarism have legal consequences and ethical consequences, and we don't want to be known as work like the person who steal or stole a work or the work of another person. So we have to work hard, be original, be honest, respect to parents, and if we do all the things, we can be proud of our work, and we are going to make proud our parents of our work.
I will talk you about the importance of believing yourself. It is important because when we will make a work, we need to trust in ourselves, and we need to trust in our capacity, and we need to know that we have enough intelligence to make our work without taking the ideas of other person. For example, when we are students, we need to make a lot of works, a lot of investigations, and a lot of homeworks, and we need to make that without taking the credits of other person, and we need to make that making our own investigation, and we don't need to this is important in the plagiarism, because if we make our work just with our effort, we will not make plagiarism, and we will be good professionals.
We as students used to make a lot of this type of mistakes just because we don't want to lose too much time in doing research. But we don't realize and we don't consider that we are losing the opportunity of learn something new, or we are losing the chance of apply this information on our professional career. Today, or nowadays, we used to copy and paste information from another person, and we don't give the credit of this information. So today we invite you to explore your abilities and take advantage of it, and realize that you are able and you have the capacity to do anything you want. You have to be patient. You have to realize that everything that is difficult is because it will give you too much advantage in the future. We are sure that you learn this value from your home, and I'm talking about the honesty and respect to other people. We want you to apply these values and realize that it will help you to be a better person, and you will feel better, and we are sure that you will be proud of you, and you will make your family be proud of yourself.
Since respect for copyright is a fundamental issue, when academic texts are produced in higher education, their practice should be encouraged from school education, as perform certain jobs for different subjects, and simultaneously they can develop skills to appropriately use works covered by different types of licensing. Here in Zamorano, we use upper norms in order to respect the works of someone else.
Honestly is one of the most important value morals that we have in our society. In the plagiarism, it's important to have honesty, because we have a lot of workshops, theses, and stuff that we can do plagiarism, and it's important to have this moral value, because we have in our life we want to take care of a lot of stuff, and maybe if we don't have honestly, and we are going to copy that workshop or thesis from other people, and that is wrong, and don't do plagiarism.
Integrity means being true to ourselves. Integrity is one of the most important values that we have to apply in our life, because the person that applies these moral value are counted with our hands. Integrity means being a person that everybody can count, because your word is important, and is going to be the truth that you are saying, no matter if it's wrong or right. You always have to have this integrity in your life. Integrity you're going to learn this value when you are growing up, because the integrity change in the different ages that you have. For example, when you are young, you're going to have another type of integrity, different than when you're an adult, that you have to use this in your daily day and in your work.
For the last, for our group, the opinion of the group is it's important to have a very strong moral values. Sorry, because in this world it's too easy to do something wrong, and that's why we got this video is about plagiarism and the connection that have with moral values that we came for the home. It's important to have very strong moral values from our home to don't do wrong things. Thank you.
As a group, we think that the moral values are not just important to this video for plagiarism, it's also important to our life. Now we're in the university and we are going to apply this to the plagiarism. When we get graduated, we're going to go to work, to the world, and we have to apply this because we're going to be recognized by these values that we have that comes from the home. These values give you like a plus, because not all the people have these moral values in our life, and it's important not to get corrupted these values in your life.